I'm Joan Davis-Rowe. Coming up in the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition, a group of professionals holding a two-day conclave here on Grand Bahama. That story coming up.
The first ever Bimini Junior Junk Canoe Parade. Herald of the exciting details straight ahead in the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition.
The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, just when officials of the Grand Bahama Taxi Union thought they were on the verge of resolving the age-old battle between taxi drivers and tour operators, the battle for business has taken another turn. Sabrina Brown has our top story.
Executives of the Grand Bahama Taxi Union say they have made every effort to secure their fair share of the market, but to no avail. President David Jones says the latest attempt was made recently during a meeting with officials of the Grand Celebration and the Ministry of Tourism, but he says that deal fell through.
We discussed that all orchestrated tours will be going to the buses. Therefore, the taxi drivers would move the one-day passengers along with the transfers, the overnights that is going to the hotel. I received an email a few days ago asking if we will only work with half the business that we originally agreed to. This is not sits well with the taxi drivers right about this time.
Jones says he's disappointed that promises made to ensure business at the Freeport Harbour is shared equally between taxi and tour operators have not been kept. He says taxi drivers are struggling to survive.
The numbers since the celebration came in has been ridiculous. The first day it brought in some 1,400 passengers. The taxi drivers move about 150. The second day it brought about 1,500 passengers. We move about 200. The third time it came in to move, bringing in also about 1,300 persons, we move about 123 persons.
Vice President Harold Curry says this problem not only exists at the harbor, but the airport as well. There are concerns that the ongoing feud over business at the seaport is having a negative impact on the country's #1 industry, but Curry doesn't see it that way.
We took this to all of the powers to be to get this problem solved, that the tourists wouldn't even get involved to even know what's going on. The tourists used to stand up their rights all over the United States, all over the world, they does this. So this is nothing new to them.
Now, union officials say taxi drivers are being taken for granted, and it will not be business as usual until this matter is resolved. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Thanks, Sabrina. Well, Director of Tourism on Grand Bahama, Betty Bethel, is firing back tonight. She says the taxi union president was told that the arrangement would be a phased-in approach and that the union agreed to a 30-day test period so they can tweak and adjust the program. She says the ministry will not offer a low-quality experience just to have customers only select the option once. But instead, she says they want to implement and influence quality and sustainable programs. The ministry, she asserts, has worked and continues to work very hard on behalf of all grand stakeholders and benefactors of the tourism industry and have negotiated opportunities in good faith. But she says the union president is not cooperative. Bethel says she's not prepared to continue going back and forth with the union taxi president, whom she says does not operate in transparency. The ministry, she states, is now going directly to all licensed taxi drivers who wish to participate in the programs. The ministry negotiated and says they are getting a good response even from union members. In other news, the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants meeting on Grand Bahama to examine a gamut of issues under the theme Upholding Integrity, Striving for Excellence. Members also used the event to update its membership about landmark legislation designed to revolutionize that profession. Here's June Davis-Roll with this report.
When the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants, PICA, was suspended from an international regulatory body, it was a severe blow to the organization.
It was very embarrassing for us, and you know, we like to think of ourselves as first world. We have membership in a number of international bodies. Most of our CPAs or our accountants are CPAs or chartered accountants or ACCAs from first world countries, and so we need to maintain our standards, which will encourage enterprise into the country, because if someone comes to invest, they like to know that you have accountants, qualified lawyers in the country, and so it's very key.
According to its president, 3 years later, things have changed, and BIKE has regained its status, but it took sweeping changes for the organization.
So we realized that we needed to not only lift the IFAC suspension, but also correct some of the deficiencies identified in the IMF report. And I hence took up the charge to co-chair the Legislative Reform Committee for the past 2 years prior to becoming the president last year, June, and work very closely with the Attorney General's office in drafting new legislation in order to repeal the Public Accountants Act and replace it with the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants 2014 bill.
Local members of the accounting field on hand Friday for the close of the two-day conference heard about how that professional body is moving from legislative reform to establishing new and improved parameters for this vital sector.
We have the assistant counsel from the Attorney General's office who is presenting on the key changes to the legislation, what it means for our members, the new continuing professional education requirements, the tenure of counsel, new position of president-elect, also the practice monitoring, and also putting the discipline and investigations process away from the council and being governed by the majority of non-accountants. So to have some independence in that discipline process of the accountants.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
Switching gears now, police taking a medical doctor before the court today on the charge of rape and indecent assault. Dr. Gerald Mark Forbes, age 46, of Epsom Road, Freeport, and Town Court, New Providence, was arraigned before Acting Magistrate Rankin Johnson in Magistrate Court Number 3. He pleaded not guilty and was granted bail in the sum of $5,000 with one surety for the indecent assault charge, and on the rape charge, bail was denied. He was remanded to Her Majesty's Prison in New Providence. Both matters were adjourned to May 5th for trial. He was represented by attorney Simeon Brown. And tonight, the authorities need your help in locating 25-year-old Gianni Antonio Demerit of South Bahama. Reports say Demerit was last seen at his residence on Bremer Drive around 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. At the time, he was dressed in a brown short jersey pants and was headed in a westerly direction. Now, Demerit is described as 6 feet 1 inch tall, about 150 pounds, slim-built, dark complexion, and a low haircut. If you see him or if you have any information on his whereabouts, that's Gianni Antonio Demerit, please contact the police department at 350-3107 or 8-911-919 or call your nearest police station. And meantime, police officers on Grand Bahama assembling this past Friday for a seminar on effective leadership. Megan Shepard has the story.
Officers of the Royal Bahamas Police Force in a leadership training seminar Friday morning with the aim of refocusing and redirecting. Officer in charge of Grand Bahama and the Northern Bahamas, ACP Emerick Seymour, says the goal is to maximize output and ensure effective leaders.
The leadership now who are here, they are in fact the movers and shakers of the organization. And of course, they need to ensure that they are ready to deal with all of the challenges that they are confronted with on a daily basis, because trust me, there are many. And so we brought in several outside presenters who will definitely speak to them, the whole business of motivation, effective leadership. And then we certain that at the end of the day, they will leave re-energized, invigorated to go back to their respective divisions and department to ensure that they give the best policing services to the people of Grand Bahama, Northern Bahamas District, and by extension the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Internationally recognized motivational speaker and trainer out of New Providence, Spence Finlinson, reaffirming that everything rises and falls on leadership. A good leader, he says, is accountable, creative, innovative, fair and passionate. When it comes to officers and the pressures of their job, he offers a few tips.
They need to take care of themselves. They need to take care of their bodies physically, get a lot of rest when they get the opportunity, eat well, and exercise. Exercise gives you something that's incredible. When you exercise, and you will know this, some endorphins are released into your brains that get you high, charged up. So to deal with this high stress, you need to be physically fit and then mentally fit. They need to read. You know, all leaders are readers. All great leaders are readers.
Aside from a stressful profession, officers also bear a lot of criticism for carrying out their duties. Finlayson says it's part of the territory and they must remain focused on the task ahead.
But you will always have the criticism, whether you do well or whether you do. There will always be people, the cynics and the critics, but you must use blinders to forge straight ahead. Because if you allow them to stop you, and some people are so afraid of criticism that they don't do anything. You will be criticized if you do or if you don't, but you have to take it in stride.
Other topics addressed by various speakers include stress management, leadership from a spiritual aspect, protocol blunders, and career development. Megan Shepard, 7S Network News.
Stay with us, the Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Free National Movement paying tribute to the party's founder this weekend. On Sunday morning, party supporters assembled at the Pro Cathedral of Christ the King for the morning worship service to remember their fallen leader, the late Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield. The FNM's deputy leader, parliamentarians, and supporters of the Free National Movement gathered for the annual service celebrating the life and legacy of the party's founder, Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield. During the sermon, Assistant Curate Alvaro Adderley pointed out that there is a human condition in all of us that seems to be constant.
As human beings, we like knowing that we have the hookup. John begins his text by saying, "Now among those who went up to worship were some Greeks." This is an interesting note by John, knowing the fact that Philip himself was a Greek. So it's fair to assess that these men were comfortable with Philip, thinking that my friend, my brother, will get me in. To contextualize this, just think about us as a people, as Bahamians. We feel comfortable, sometimes too comfortable, when we know someone who can give us the hookup.
He said so often people spend their time running behind politicians.
Perhaps you need to look to Jesus. We're looking the wrong place. Look to Jesus, my friends. He has been extremely good to us. Believe it or not, we soon get ready to write 2016. That's just how fast time flies.
But he said time should be spent focusing on Jesus.
If we will just transform what we do in here and take it out there, we would not have to see Perry Christie. We would not have to see Michael Davil. We would not have to see Hubert Minnis. And we would not have to see Mr. Turngress, because transformation starts right here.
Deputy leader of the Free National Movement, Peter Turnquest, says he is proud of the party's legacy and grateful for all those who have made contributions.
Continuing the legacy of our founding leader and all of those who led us up to this point, including Sir Kendall Isaacs, Mr. Hubert Ingram, and all of those who have built this legacy that we stand on today. We thank them, we honor them today as we remember the struggles of this country that has brought us the freedoms that we enjoy today.
Well, the Grand Bahama Agribusiness Expo gets underway this week. It is an initiative by the government to promote agriculture as a means to reducing food imports. Here on Grand Bahama, a resident of the South has been doing just that. She says her backyard farm is proof of what can be done with a little time and a whole lot of dedication. Sabrina Brown has this story.
Guava and grapefruit and bananas, cane, papaya, pumpkin, cabbage, tomatoes, and all what is in the backyard farming and fruits and vegetables, I grow it.
Rejoinder Roll has been growing a variety of fruits and vegetables around her yard in Pinders Point for decades, and she believes her ability to grow natural products is a gift from God.
Then over street score and 10, I know was 70. And I was doing I was the little girl, I watched my sister do it. I grew up with my sister Thelma and an old lady named Mama Rose Miller. I grew up with them, and I just watched them do things, and I just take off right from there. I haven't been to school to learn it or nothing, no trade, but I just do it off myself. And what I can do, I just pray to God, and He give me the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding, and I just do it.
Roll is hoping she can now make a living selling her homegrown produce, and she's encouraging other Bahamians to consider growing their food.
I know money in farming, and my husband is a fisherman and I is a backyard farmer, so we can live. And we also, the two of us is diabetic, so we have fresh fish and we have fresh vegetable, which is good. And we just go from there. So I'll encourage the young people to take up farming. When they say I go back to farming, from when I was a little girl, I farm and I never stop. So when they say go back, I never stop farming. I just continue farming. Whatever I find, I put in the ground, and it just catch. It just grow and grow.
This senior citizen gives us the secret to her successful farming.
And as I farm, I talk to my plant like a child. I say, now you don't get lazy, now you grow. I want you to grow, and God bless you. And as I talk to them, prayer is power in prayer. And as I talk to my plant and I water them, and I talk and I pray at the same time, so it just grow. It just continue growing.
But farming is not Roll's only talent. She also creates crochet designs and shell pieces. Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. Ricardo Liborn has a check on sports when we return.
Everybody, and welcome to Sports and Ricardo Liborn. Tonight I'm giving a special thank you out to the staff of Statoil, Grand Bahama Port Authority, Grand Bahama Power Company, also Alice Williams, and the Mind and Body Soul crew, and all the walkers that made our Fun Run and Walk a huge success on Saturday. I had a great time with everybody this morning. Even the twins beat me, and they ain't walk yet. Okay, Sunday at Freeport Rugby Club is a must-take part in because the Ladies Premier Soccer League is actually the place to be, and the response is very positive. The Grand Bahama Premier Girls Soccer League is a must-take-in on Sundays at the Freeport Rugby Club field, and what a league it is. The league, completing 2 weeks of play, and for the most part, has been well received by players and supporters. The coach of Barcelona, Theodore Hudson, said he's excited about the league and the possibilities. The hope is to give the boys the same opportunity.
That's what my son was saying. He was hoping the boys could have something like this. And it's good to see so many young people out here. They'll get excited. This can only get better, and it will serve Grand Bahama and by extension the Bahamas as well.
Chelsea's off to a rocket start and undefeated at 2-0. Shannon Albury, Gabrielle Hall, and the team, well, they have simply been on a tear. For Coach Michael DeSantos, the league is essential for the girls, and the future of the game at Grand Bahama and the Bahamas looks bright.
It is important not only for me, but for the girls in Grand Bahama and the Bahamas as a whole, because Coach Mary and Coach Donnie they have an awesome developmental girls program here, and out of that program is the board of this league, women's league. We have 2 adults in each team here, and we just started with 2 adults just to give the younger girls the lead and lead the way, and today we are seeing that is being put in place, and we're so happy to see the outcome of that. And I'm quite certain when NASA hear about this, they're going to be the envy of this tournament. I can assure you about that.
Dortmund defeated Barcelona 4-1 in Week 2 play. Gabrielle Sims scored 2 goals, and Catherine Ellis and Abigail Sims with the goal. Amia Wiley with the lone goal for Barcelona. Chelsea put away Real Madrid 3-1. Shannon Albury had 2 goals, and Gabrielle Hall with the goal. Chelsea Joy Hannah Sims also scored that lone goal for Real Madrid. And on Sunday, Barcelona won their first game with a 1-0 win over Chelsea. Marissa Vanetti also had the lone goal in Real Madrid and Barca Dortmund. They played to a scoreless draw. The girls are having a lot of fun. Abaco Basketball Association play on the weekend, folks. If we tell you the Young Legends defeated the KNS Oilers 75-67. And the Charleston Quarters had an 18-point game, and the Rebels Mark Penn with some 22. Cooperstown Showtime over the Dunderstown Rebels 98-75. Timothy Bullitt at a 27-point game. Lorenzo Davis had 20 in the losing cause. Also, Abaco Little League Baseball got in a couple games. Marsh Harbor Rebels defeated the Foxtown team. They're the new kids on the block 19-1. Dylan Albury had a picture-perfect game. He had 2 doubles, 2 triples as part of a 4-for-4 and 9 RBI game. Hines Russell had a 2-hitter, struck out 9 batters. They are having themselves a ball. Well, the Rising Stars baseball softball program is in full swing, folks, and Natalia Hall has an update on where they are with that program.
The Rising Stars Baseball and Softball Development League is off to a good start this season. The league seeks to motivate, train, and develop the necessary skills in boys ages 3 to 18 for a successful future on and off the field. The afternoon began with the 9 to 10 players on the diamond and then the T-ballers. Vice President Narissa Lockhart-Sanders says the kids are doing a great job out on the field.
The kids, we've had some competitive games, especially in coach pitch, and the kids seems to be having a very good time. T-ball, you know, they're just learning the game, they're just having fun, and the parents seem to enjoy it more than the T-ballers.
Sanders encourages parents to send their kids out as the program will help greatly with their development and social skills.
I just encourage those parents that have kids between the ages of, I think, 5 to 17 to have them come out and play, get involved, baseball and softball. We have both girls and boys, and so they just need to get them involved.
It's Talia Hall, ZNS Total Sports.
And we're all talking about Buddy Hield. Oklahoma Sooners going to the Sweet 16. Watch them play last night. If they play the way they play against the Spartans, they're going to be in trouble. But I got my fingers crossed on this one. He should be okay. That's a look at your sports tonight.